Fam, what's up? Kyle Henderson. Bama football on YouTube. The college football Super Bowl is here. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm inviting all my friends from the great state of Texas, the Lone Star State, to call in and post your score prediction right now. 205-850-1994. That's the call-in line number. I want you to call in and give me a score prediction for tomorrow's game between Alabama in Texas. I think Alabama favored by 7.5. We'll update that line coming into this game. There's so many storylines. And I was talking with the game day crew this morning as they came to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And if you're just joining the show, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. I was talking to the game day crew, which includes Tim Tebow, Reese Davis, Roman Harper, and, we were talking, and Kirk Herbstreit, of course, and we were talking about the college football season and what everybody saw from Alabama and Texas in week one. And the thing with Texas playing Rice and Alabama playing Middle is you saw a small sample size of each of these teams. But now when you go into a game like this, clearly a measuring stick of how good these teams are. Call line is open, 205-850-1994. Call in right now. I want to get your score prediction on this weekend's game. It's a measuring stick. It's an indicator of where these two teams are right now going into week 2 of the college football season. I see you inside the comment box. Stephen Hicks, thank you for joining us. Dean as well. Dean has it 38-17. That's Alabama 38 and Texas 17. BT has it 42-13. I would assume that is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Again, call line is open, 205-850-1994. Call in. Give me your score prediction. Let's get this thing going. I was downtown. I was at Bryant-Denny Stadium just about 45 minutes ago. It's on fire. People everywhere. College game day crew, like they're not showing up tomorrow. They're already there today. You had Pat McAfee. You had Coach Saban together. Goat on goat doing their thing. Pat McAfee in town. Everybody's in town for the biggest game in college football, and rightfully so. People want to see if this Texas team is for real. And we want to see if this Alabama team is for real. Now, Reese Davis had some pretty good points during our availability today. And he said that, look, people, Alabama is still clearly dominant. But are they that team that still can make people quit, right? Make their ass quit. Is it still that type of team? Is it still that type of dynasty, so to speak? And granted, Georgia has it right now going on. They've won the last 2. We got our first caller in the call queue. Call line is 205-850-1994. But before that, how far do we have to go back before Georgia won a national title? What was it, like 40 years or something like that? So yeah, Georgia red hot right now. But I mean, clearly Alabama is still up there with the college football elite. People feel that they can punch at Alabama's weight now. And we're about to find out on Saturday if Texas has arrived under Steve Sarkisian. Big fan of Steve Sarkisian. What he's done with himself, with the brand of Texas. They're coming into Tuscaloosa, Alabama, more than a touchdown underdog. But if you look to the past, teams that have come into Alabama that can throw the football effectively, have challenged Alabama, have beaten Alabama, can Quinn Ewers be that guy to beat Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium tomorrow night? We're about to find out. And still a little bit more than 24 hours before kick, but tomorrow night at 6 p.m., everybody's going to be watching Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We got an 859 in the call queue, and we'll start right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, can you hear me okay, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you great, man.
Okay, awesome. It's connected to the truck, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't sounding weird on your show.
You're good, man.
My name's Jack. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. I called in to you about 2 weeks ago, and, I'm the hype man. I get everybody up and going about Bama football. But first, I want to start off by saying my dad passed away Monday, and he is who indoctrinated me into this love for this sport and specifically for Alabama. And I really wish he was here just to be able to see this game. But anyhow, I got a couple quick things, Kyle, and then I'll get off. I'd like to hear your opinion on stuff. I'm gonna go hype though. Again, I love it. I live for it. I'm one of those fans. But I called in a couple weeks ago, right before the MTSU game, and I said that was the warm-up game, and I said that Jalen Milroe was going to come out and ball, and that he was a much better quarterback than people were giving him credit for. And I'm happy for him as a person that's exactly how it played out. All right. Texas is coming to play. I'm more in agreement with you on it being a tighter game. However, our defense, man, those edge rushers, Dallas, all those guys, they're coming, dude. Like, they're hungry. They remember last year, Milroe, that confidence from that MTSU game, I feel like it's going to carry over. The game's important to him because of the connection with Texas. I get it. Our DBs, I feel like, have to be huge and are going to be huge. And I agree with you, what you said the other day on your show. Dude, let an interception take place or one of those massive sacks happen. And I'm not saying for him to get hurt, but Ewers just get laid out. That stadium's going to erupt, and it's not going to stop. Quick thing, too, LSU, yeah, well, they were going to win the West, right? And I know I'm not looking forward. I'm just saying I like talking trash. It's healthy. But I love how you say you're there in Tuscaloosa and you're living and breathing it with these people. You're not in New York in some desk talking all this air about stuff that you're not a part of. And that's why I love your show, man. I love, avid listener. And then last point, you talked the other day about this game being huge, like for Texas. If they win, they're back, like we've been hearing for 5 years now, but it will open a ceiling for them with recruiting and all these different things. And I couldn't agree more with you. The flip side to that, this game for Bama, it puts their footing firmly on the ground of letting the world know, oh, hell, that team from Tuscaloosa is back again. They have not fallen off. Saban has not lost his edge. And it's a great test because it's early, man. Like, it's going to let this team feel pain, strength, the effort that Texas is going to bring. It's good. Like, it's good for this team. It's good for all these young players. Caleb Downs, like, I'm super excited to see how he is and how he reacts to these things, because this is the level. This is why he came to Bama, is to be tested by teams like this. So I'm excited, man. I'll quit on that note. I had some other stuff I was going to go into, but it doesn't matter. We'll do it 1 week at a time. But love your show. I'm super happy for you. When I get off of here, I'll add a super chat in to help with your operation there, because I think you're legit, and the information and the content you put out is leaps and bounds above these big time news networks. And I'm not knocking them. It's just you're organic, man. And that's a hard thing to find these days. You can get on here and find 200 shows that, oh, well, LSU is going to win the West, and Alabama, well, we don't know. And you're there. You're talking to these players and listening to Saban, and it's refreshing, man. So have a great day. I hope this show's awesome for you. I hope I started it out on a good note. Bama, I'm picking them. I'm the comment in the chat at the bottom. I'm picking them 28-10. I think the third quarter is going to be the flip around where it's pretty much we put the stranglehold on. So love you, man. Take care. All
right. Take it easy, Jack. Thank you very much for calling from Lexington and get the party started. We got a 256 and an 832 inside the comment box. First of all, hey, Jack, I know you're listening on the other side, man. We appreciate your support, but most importantly, prayers your way for your father. I can only imagine the emotions that you're going through following such, a loss in your life. But I think, sometimes when things like that happen to us, and, we've all dealt personal blows in our life, sometimes the perspective about it, is the way to reframe that and to think about the good times. And you guys said that he's a huge Alabama fan, reflect on those times. And, I'm definitely praying for you, and my heart goes out to you and your family as you go into this weekend's game. So Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, 205-850-1994. I'm inviting all my Texas friends to call in today to post their score prediction between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Texas Longhorns. We got a 256, an 832, and a 720. We'll get to you all football right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Hey, David, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. We already got a 20 spot in. Let's continue to bump that up. We really appreciate all the support right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We go back to the phone lines, and we got 256, and let's get it right now. Hey, thank you very much for calling. You're on the line
Kyle.
with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Jason from Priceville, Alabama.
Thank you very much for calling in this beautiful afternoon. I'm telling you, just like Jack was saying, I'm in Tuscaloosa, and it was beautiful today out at the quad. Walked around college game day. The atmosphere is just like, where would you rather want to be? And here we sit one day away from what I'm calling the early season college football Super Bowl. Thank you for joining us on the show. Take it away.
Hey, Guy, it seems like people forgot that Bama had 15 penalties in that game last year, and the only reason the game was even close is because of Bama mistakes. Texas didn't have anything for Bama last year if Bama plays a clean game. Just a B plus, B minus game. Mm-hmm. They blow Texas out. And that's something I think our defense is going to be way, way better this year. I think we got a better inside game with some mature players on the inside of the D-line. And Milroe's going to be the difference maker, man. If they do get penetration on the line, he's going to break out and they're going to lose containment and he's going to take it for 70, I just don't think Texas is ready for what's coming tomorrow night. They think they are, but in a clean game, it's over by the second drive of the third quarter. I mean, we're putting in, Simpson or Buckner and 5 deep down the wide receiver line and offensive line by the second drive of the third quarter.
On with Jason from Priceville. Really appreciate you calling in today. We got a super chat coming in from the great Alan. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Jack from Kentucky says, love you, my man. Keep up the good work. Hey, back to you, man. We really appreciate the support. And again, prayers out to your father. On the line with Jason from Priceville. Jason, I think the fact, and talking with the College Game Day crew, and I specifically asked Tim Tebow and Roman Harper on Alabama's offense and what they saw in that small sample size in week one. And, clearly each of those comments started out with the play of Jalen Milroe. And I think it captivated a lot of people's attention that he could throw the deep ball. And I think that is scary for the world of college football if he does that again in week 2. If Jalen Milroe comes in and he has a successful game throwing deep balls downfield, and he's just overall successful, short intermediate passes, doing his thing with his legs, the world of college football is going to be terrified of this Alabama offense because Jalen Milroe, if his deep ball is locked in, he might be the best quarterback in college football, period. And that's a huge statement. He has a huge opportunity to prove it. And you're right. I mean, they have the weapons on the offensive side of the ball to really separate themselves, not only from Texas, but from any team. I mean, you kind of look at the past recruiting classes. These guys don't have a lot of experience. They haven't been in the limelight, but there's enough talent to go around and to make you miss. And you got some really impactful weapons at the tight end room that I want everybody to watch tomorrow night. Amari Niblack, Danny Lewis, CJ Dupree. How is Coach Tommy Rees going to utilize those tight ends, be creative to get the football to some of those guys in some open space? I think we got a small taste of it, seeing Amari Niblack catch a long touchdown pass. And, you're right. I mean, this team is built very dangerous, and I don't think that we've seen any of the peak. And I think there was a caller the other night who brought this up. We didn't really see Malik Benson or Ja'Cory Brooks do much. Ja'Cory Brooks didn't play the first half of that last game, and Malik Benson, they didn't really even go to him. He's supposed to be that next guy that can be that right out, so to speak. So I don't think we've even seen what Alabama really has coming. Go ahead, Jason, make another point.
I think something that is going to be, we're going to use Knobloch. We're going to use him big time. He's going to be a weapon. We just didn't show that. What you saw at the end of that game last week where they hit a few deep balls, that was just them making sure they could still do that. They could have did that the whole game, my friend. They just didn't. And I think Jam Miller, he's going to make a statement tomorrow night. I think when we broke Florida State a few years back, That's what's going to happen to Texas tomorrow night. We're going to break Texas, and it's going to be over. I mean, you're going to see there's going to be faces as long as pie sheets, my man. You watch and see. We're going to break Texas tomorrow night.
You got a score prediction for me, Jason?
Yeah, I think it's going to be probably 45-17, somewhere in there.
45-17.
But right. I think it's going to be a hard 45. Like, I think we're going to drive the ball down their throat for 3 quarters, and they're going to finally give it up and tap out, But the first 3 quarters, it's going to be – they're going to really see what it's like to play big-time SEC football tomorrow night.
Yeah, you're coming in. Yeah, this is – and like we've talked about during this week, and even Coach Sark was asked this on Mondays about the measuring stick of his program. Last year, we kind of got a sample size, but another opportunity. Hey, you're coming down to Bryant-Denny Stadium. You have a little bit more experience playing against that type of caliber since you did it last year, coming in to a hostile environment where you were one time the head football coach when Alabama played Auburn and got the dub. So let's see what he can continue to do with that Texas team. Hey, Jason, I'm going to move to my next caller. I appreciate your input today. Love the big score, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, Kyle, love your show, man. Keep on going, buddy. Keep your head up. And everybody get ready for tomorrow night. It's on Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide to you, Jason. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We got an 832, a 720, and a 334 inside the comment box. Appreciate the super chats early on. Thank you very much. We got a new member inside the house, Becky Lee. Hit the join button underneath any video. David hit us with the 20 spot early on, and that was Jack from Kentucky with the 50 spot. So we really appreciate all the support right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We will go back to the phone lines in just 1 second. Want to encourage you guys to hit the thumbs up. We have 110 watching. Let's get 110 thumbs up right here in the comment box. I'm telling you, the quad in Tuscaloosa on fire. The whole downtown, you couldn't even drive around. I mean, people are everywhere. It's beautiful weather. Certainly if you can't go to the game, come enjoy the tailgate, because that's going to be the place to be tomorrow in the whole state of Alabama. 832, let's get it right now. Hey, thanks for calling. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
My name is Mike, and I'm from Austin, Texas.
Mike from Austin. Thank you so much for calling. It's here. We've spoken about this game before. It's finally here. What's your take as we're almost 24 hours away from kickoff?
Well, my take is this. I think Alabama's going to win by 10 or 14 points. Pretty comfortable win. That's my prediction. But with that being said, I think the only path to victory for the Texas Longhorns is they have to do 2 things. One, they got to stop Alabama's running game, because if they can stop Alabama's running game and put it solely on Milroe's arm, they might have a chance to win. Now, we all know Milroe, I think he has a good arm. He's proven a lot here lately, but that's their only chance to win, is stopping the run and putting it on Milroe to pass the ball. That, and the only other chance to win is, how it takes to beat Alabama. The team has to have a quarterback, the opposing team like Texas, whoever, their quarterback has to be the superstar for the day. He's got to be Tom Brady clone for the day. That's how you beat Alabama. Mm-hmm. These Johnny Manziels, whatever, that's what it takes to beat Alabama, superstar play from the other team. So if they can do that, if they can stop Alabama's running game, and if Quinn Ewers has the game of his life, then they have a chance to win. Because, with that being said, Kyle, just like that previous caller said, Bama's going to break Texas. And there's some truth to that. This is why, because last time Bama played Texas, the Colt McCoy game, they broke Colt McCoy, and they broke Texas Longhorns. That was 2009, I believe. They haven't done nothing since. They haven't been to the playoffs. They've been through 3 coaches. They haven't even won the Big 12 since. So they broke Texas in that championship game, and there's a good chance they break them again, my man.
You know what is interesting about Jason bringing up with the breaking Florida State? He's absolutely right, because that game, remember, we all went down. I was there. I drove down to Atlanta, and I even stopped with the War Chant crew who's down in Tallahassee, and I hung out in their studio. And then we went to Atlanta, and they broke the program, right? Like, you saw like the changing of events that happened after that game. We were just like, their program crashed. Now Florida State back on the rise. I don't know, Texas, they have some momentum coming into the SEC, but wouldn't that be something if you come in and you literally can put it to a early season loss like this by a large margin can 100% break you. With that said, if you're going to lose in the college football world, you have to lose early because you can make it up. And if you look to the back end of Texas' schedule, it's a favorable schedule. And this team has a lot of weapons. And I think if they can avoid trap games against Iowa State and Texas Tech, like I've said before, all this week, this team has an ability to potentially make the college football playoffs, depending on if they're able to take care of business against Tuscaloosa 100%. But even if they are to lose that game, they still control their own destiny of being that it's so early in the season. I think they have enough weapons if they stay healthy that they could run the table in the Big 12. I do think that team, is capable enough. And a lot of people are like, oh, Kyle believes in Texas more than Texas fans. No, I've been listening to Coach Saban. Coach Saban, I don't think he's been blowing smoke. Like, he's been saying that this team has two good interior defensive linemen. He's been saying that they're good on the edge. He said that Xavier Worthy is the best wide receiver in college football. So those are some matchup problems. And I know that Quinn didn't have his best performance in week 1 regarding the deep ball. But just like Coach Sean said right here on Bama Football on YouTube, like, he's good and he's sufficient enough to do damage. So, I believe in this Alabama team, and I picked Alabama to win this game. I think it's going to be tighter than you guys are saying, but I think an early game interception, an early game sack, an early game monumental play from Alabama's defense could lead to Alabama completely running away with this game, because I think the fans are going into this game understanding the fact that they control an element that only they can control, and that's the atmosphere of this game. Coach Saban can't control that. The players can't control it. The fans can add an additional element to this game and take Texas out. It's very difficult when Bryant Denny is loud to make calls at the line. And if they can do that with a team that likes to spread the field, I think it's going to be very challenging, very daunting for Texas. What else you got, Mike?
Well, that's about it. All I can say is I'm happy for the big game, but Bama has broken many programs from Florida State, Miami, the Florida Gators, Texas Longhorns. You like Notre Dame, you light them up, we knock them down. But I just want to say one thing, Kyle. It's been 107 degrees here in Austin and Central Texas, pretty much all summer. I think we've been about 2 months now over 100 degrees. Finally, this week, and a slight cold front's coming in. It's going to cool it down to about 95, and then I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, God bless you, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Tide. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. You take care, my
man.
man.
All right, man. Take it easy. It's Mike calling in from Kentucky. Roll Tide to you, buddy. Appreciate it, man. We got a 720-334 and a 251 inside the call box. Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. New super chat in from our buddy Michael Smith, DJ Smitty, spin it. We appreciate you, man, and thank you very much for joining us on this fine Friday, September 8th. I'm actually rolling tonight to Hillcrest in Northridge. If you're making score predictions and if you're in the Tuscaloosa area, make a score prediction on that high school football game. I think, from what I understand, Hillcrest should be rolling into that game. So we go back to the call queue in just a second. I encourage you guys to hit the thumbs up, like, and if you guys are not yet a subscriber, hit the bell. Turn on all notifications so you are notified when high-quality Alabama football-related content is published right here on our YouTube channel. Helps more than you know. And with that, we go right back to the phone lines. 720. Let's get it going. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thank you for being patient. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Rob in Colorado.
No way. Yo, Rob, where have you been, man? My goodness, this is like a long-lost connection, man. I've been looking for you all over, man, and here you are on this beautiful Friday. I'm glad you're well, man. Good to hear from you.
I'm sitting outside Smash Burger. I got a free burger. I'm on the concrete, sitting down, eating, man, having a good. It's kind of hot though. Concrete's kind of hot.
So what's your take, man, going into the college football Super Bowl this weekend, Texas Bama?
I may have missed a few callers on previous shows, but the caller before me? I think it was the caller before me. He had a good point, and I didn't hear a lot of people. And sorry if they did mention this, or if you mentioned this, Kyle. The penalties, bro. 15 penalties. When do we have 15 penalties? When we lose, when someone makes a deal with the devil. Hey, I want to beat Saban. I want to beat Saban. Like, you got to go above and beyond to beat us. So chances of us having 15 penalties the next 3 years in a game, highly unlikely. So that helped keep that game close. You know, it was hot. It was real loud. I think you're giving Texas a lot of credit and respect by your score prediction.
Uh-huh.
But Texas is, they're not going to score more than 17 on us. There's no way. It's personal. We want payback from last year. You know, we want to get them out of there. And I think Nick Saban needs an 8th ring, if you ask me.
On with my good buddy Rob from Colorado, man. Outside of Smashburger, that's the first time, man. That was like our thing. Now you come back full circle, man. Right? Yeah, life is good. Man, you know what?
Good.
I've been listening to all these score predictions, man. Everybody's going to turn me to make a larger score prediction, man, because I'm starting to believe in my own callers. You know, it's like I see what I see with my own eyes, but now I'm starting to listen to my callers. And what's amazing is the intelligence of our callers regarding college football. I mean, some of these, like, you're bringing it, you know, and you get it. You see these different perspectives. I just think if that environment is on fire and there's some impactful first quarter plays, Bama is, this team as well. But and like everybody is saying, and I want to get your take on this too, Rob, before you bounce out. Jalen Milroe's play last week, I get it. It was against Middle, I know. But what he was able to do and what he is capable of doing is dangerous. And if he's able to come out and do it against Texas, my goodness, like the world of college football is going to be terrified about Jalen Milroe coming in. Your take on Jalen Milroe and, you know, kind of Alabama's offense from a small sample size last week, Rob?
He made some passes. I was like, whoa, is this the same guy? Did they clone him? You know how they clone Tyrone? They clone Tyrone on Netflix? I was like, wait a minute, they cloned Tyrone. They had to clone Jalen Milroe. Because he threw, I mean, they were accurate. He looked almost like, he kind of reminded me a little bit as far as some of his passes. He's not this guy. He could be this guy, or he could be as good as this guy, but Mac Jones on those slants. Wow. He looked pretty good on some of those passes, man. He's not Mac Jones, though. He's faster than Mac Jones, but he don't throw as good as Mac Jones, but that don't mean he could get there. So I think he's great. Texas last year, I'm telling you, man, just like you said, Kyle, you were right about the fact. If we get an early sack, all you need is a little momentum. And Texas got a little momentum because they got the heat. They had home field advantage. Mm-hmm. They had hometown refs. You know, Tennessee game, hometown refs. You're going to turn an interception 2 minutes left in the game. You're going to take that win from those young men out there playing hard. I think it was who got that interception in Tennessee when it was like 2 minutes left. Who was that again?
I don't know. I have to go back on. I don't know. Someone in the comment box will know. But I get your point.
It's like, you know, it's the hometown refs and stuff, man. That's why I feel like score. I'm gonna go 42-17, and that's Nick Saban pumping the brakes.
Okay, it was Kool-Aid. Thank you, Dr. Schultz. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for keeping everybody's feet comfortable as well. That's Dr. Scholes, right? Doctor. Hey, Rob.
It's those hometown reps, man.
Because the thing about it was the penalties, right? Like, and it was because a lot of it was because of the atmosphere. The atmosphere in Austin was bananas. Like William Anderson was having penalties. Like I get it, he was amped up, but I think like the crowd certainly impacted that game. That's why I think going in this game, you're like, if you've never been to an Alabama game before, you were about to get. You know, it was actually Herb Street who said this today. He said, Alabama, since they added the new lights and the DJ, that they have taken college football in terms of atmosphere to a whole different level. And, you know, clearly he goes around the country and he sees all these games. He said that nothing compares to Alabama playing at night. So I'm telling you, tomorrow night is going to be on fire. Rob, make one more point, man, before I bounce to my next caller.
People talking about, I got a good point. If you want a 2-team parlay, CU to cover, Bama to cover, man. Throw 100, throw 200. I got 200 on CU and Bama. You're gonna win. You're going to win. They're going to both cover. So if you want to take mama out for a nice little steak dinner, lobster, whatever you want to do, ribeye. I'm a ribeye guy myself, medium, perfect. Comes off like butter, especially if you smoke it. So, if you want a good bet, CU and Bama to cover.
All right, Coach Prime and Coach Saban. Sounds like two safe bets to me. Rob, Colorado, I appreciate you calling in, man. I will catch you next time, man. Stay safe, brother, and it's so good to hear from you.
Man, I love talking with you, man. I'm glad you're healthy, man. God bless. A lot of crazy stuff going on right now in the world. Be close with God. Pray for discernment. You'll see through all the BS.
That's
Have
right,
a nice
man.
day.
Appreciate it, bro. Rob out in Colorado. We got a 334. I won't keep you on hold long. I know you've been there for a minute. Let me get to you right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Jackson out of Prattville, Alabama.
Hey, Jackson, I appreciate you being patient inside the call queue. Same with the 251. You guys just hang tight. Hey, Jackson, I appreciate you calling in. Almost 24 hours away from kick. Rob was saying that he expects it to be all Alabama. So was Jason from Priceville. We're talking score predictions. Man, what's on your mind as we get ready for the college football Super Bowl in week 2?
Man, first off, roll tide, by the way.
Roll Tide.
I think we're going to simply wipe the floor with Texas, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a dogfight up until halftime, but I think, we all know that Alabama's a second-half team, and I think we're just going to pull away and really show dominance and adjust to whatever Texas was throwing at us in the first half. Texas is a great team. Love Sark, miss them on the, coordinator side of the, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think we just got a better overall team, and I'm just really excited to watch the game.
Do you feel that this Texas offense is a little bit overhyped, or do you feel that they do have the weapons to maybe challenge Alabama's defensive secondary?
Man, honestly, I'm not buying into the hype. I think they're definitely overhyped. I think they got good weapons, but I don't think they have the overall team that we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's a little bit of a matchup difference. Like, I feel like we got way too much good on the defensive side. The only thing that could be holding us back is, experience. But I think we'll adjust, and I think we'll do what we need to do to get it done.
That's a really good point, Jackson. We're on with Jackson from Prattville calling in today. I think that this team, the players are clearly there. And I think it was even, it was like Roman that said it this morning, but they just haven't played on the field yet. But so they're kind of like lacking experience. They're not lacking talent. So,
right.
And I think Reese Davis even said this morning that right now, NFL scouts feel that there are more NFL players on Texas's team than on Alabama's team. And the reason is just what you said. That we really haven't seen a lot of these guys from Alabama play, on the field or in big time games. So we're about to see that tomorrow. And I think when you look to Texas offense, you have Worthy, Mitchell, Sanders, and it looks like they have a pretty good running back. Coach Saban was very complimentary of him, I think, on the coaches show, which was Thursday. I feel that Quinn is a good quarterback, but man, listening to all, our fans calling in, I think you guys really, were not only impressed by week 1, but are accustomed to the standard of like, look, this is Bryant-Denny Stadium. And there's not a lot of teams, if any, that can come in here and push Alabama around. And I like that Lank mentality. Let a naysayer know. Alabama, they're coming in with something extra for Texas. I know that. I mean, it's like every other game is, just another game. But I think Alabama and Texas, considering the brands and the magnitude and the fact that people have been kind of chirping at Alabama, saying that they're vulnerable, I think Alabama is really excited to take it to Texas on Saturday. What else you got, Jackson? Make one more point before we bounce to our next caller.
I think that's it for me, but I'll give you a final score prediction of I'm going with 45-17. Bama takes it.
45-17. That is our score from Jackson in Prattville. Thank you very much, Jackson. I appreciate it, man. Roll Tide to you, and we will catch up with you next time.
Okay, thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. All right, we got a 251, a 251, a 256, and a 256 all in the common queue, and we'll just keep it going so people, can get through. 251, let's go. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
You talking to Brian from Groveville, Alabama. How you doing? Roll Tide, man. God bless you, my brother.
Roll Tide to you, and God bless you as well. Thank you for joining us today. What's on your mind as we turn to week 2 of the college football season?
Alabama got to make a statement. We got to make a statement to show the world that we back at the most feared team in the country, man. We got to make a statement. Jalen Milroe got to prove to the naysayers, man, that he is that quarterback. And the offensive line, to me, need to tighten up a little bit. Defense-wise, they look good. It remind me of the old school Alabama defense we had when we won these championships. And I was wondering, how is our defensive backs like Malachi Moore and that Key Cat? How's they doing?
I like that. Yeah, I like that Key Cat. That's Jalen Key. We're on with Brian from Grove Hill calling in. I appreciate the call. So right now, in terms of a status update on the secondary, this is what we know. And this is what was posted from Coach Saban on Wednesday during the teleconference. And that's Wednesday morning. And he said that they are day to day, and he doesn't know how close they are to 100%, but they are able to practice this week, which is good news. If you were wondering out there about Kool-Aid, because I know he did take a big hit, Kool-Aid's cool. Like, we talked to him after the game, so he'll be playing. And then you have the only guy that is out for certain for Saturday's matchup against Texas is Devontae Smith, who suffered some sort of a foot injury during fall camp. I think, going to like the middle of fall camp, it looked like he was going to be a starter for Alabama. And yes, if you're new to this coverage, Alabama does have another Devontae Smith. I know it's crazy, but he does. They even smell. I know. Yeah. But when I posted something on YouTube, they were like, "What? Bama has another Devontae Smith?" I'm like, yeah, and they even call him Smitty, of course. But the secondary should be I know, but the secondary should be in good shape. Watch for Trey Amos as well. He's very capable. So you have him and Terran Arnold, and I think Terran Arnold will be tested. I think that Texas is going to go for him as well. And you're right, Al is inside the comment box. Even though he's not in the secondary, Emmanuel Henderson is going to be out as well. He's a wide receiver with a hip injury. So that's kind of like your small injury report.
The running back turn wide receiver, right?
Yep. And he's very good too. Coach Saban said that he had a great fall camp. God can fly. I mean, those sophomores are really good. What else you got, Brian, going into this game?
Okay, man. It's a lot of hype. I got Georgia fans, other fans thinking that Texas is going to come over there and beat Alabama. I'm like, man, no, we got to make a statement. And you at our house. You in Bryant Denny Stadium. One of the goddamn rapidest crowds in the country.
Yep.
And it's a hard place to play over there. And we got home field advantage. Jalen Milroe, everybody talking about, he ain't like this and that. I'm like, man, Jalen Milroe, in my eyes, he going to surprise a lot of people tomorrow night. I promise you. Defense look good. Wide receivers, they all gonna step up. He gonna prove some people. Because to me, in my eyes, everybody comparing him to Cam Newton, but in my eyes, I think he's remind me of Blake Sims back in 2014 when he had his great year. He remind me of a little bit of Blake Sims, a running back turned quarterback type. And I think he gonna prove everybody wrong. Because everybody like down the cat, like Jalen Milroe, he can't just use his legs. The man just proved it. The man got an arm. The man can throw.
Yeah.
All I said about and my only problem. I'm gonna cut this short. And all I gotta say, man, the offensive line just need to tighten them up, just protect them more, and we got it. I'm saying Alabama gonna win by 10. I'm going to say like 35-24.
35-24. Okay, 35-24 is the latest score from Brian in Grove Hill. I'm sorry. I appreciate the call-in. Really good, feedback with the call. Hit on a lot of points, and I think you're right. Like, the biggest takeaway for me from your call is like Jalen Milroe has another opportunity to prove the naysayers wrong, because clearly he could throw the ball. This is the one thing that I will say, Brian, in closing, is like, I don't think Jalen Milroe has to be like anybody else. I think he just has to be Jalen Milroe. And from speaking,
it's not the problem. It's just like he remind me.
And the thing about it is, I think like he's humble enough, and he has that like team. Like, I'm telling you, like, he's one of the best interviews that we've had in a while. You know, he's so humble, and I think he gets it, you know, so I can't wait to see him ball out. And I appreciate the call, Brian. Call in anytime, man. Great feedback for sure.
All right, God bless you, man. Roll Tide, man. We got to make that statement, Doc.
Yep. All right. Appreciate it. Roll Tide to you too, man. God bless you. 251. Let's just dive right into it. I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Kendall from Mobile, Alabama.
Kendall, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in today on this beautiful afternoon, close to kickoff, man. What's on your mind? Take it away.
First off, I called a couple weeks ago, and I said this team, I thought they reminded me of the 2016 Alabama. I know it's one game. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that the defense, because the first thing I asked about, you know, with Roman Harper today, you know, he's a defensive guy. I get it. Love the schematic mind that he has. So I asked him, what was your sample of, you know, Alabama against middle? And he started clearly with the defensive side of the ball. And he said that he was improved from what he saw. Now, I get it. It's the opponent, but kind of those simplistic things that we wanted to talk about going into week one was, can they tackle? How are they going to play in coverage? And then he went a little bit deeper in terms of the philosophy, but Kevin still brings a lot to this Alabama defense. And though the world of college football has changed, the standard hasn't. So this is a gigantic opportunity for Alabama's OC and their DC, Tommy on the offense and then Kevin on the defense. And they're going to be presented with a lot of challenges. And Roman spoke to the fact that Xavier Worthy is going to be put all over the field, whether that's in stacked formations, motions, whatever they can do. And I want to see if Kool-Aid is going to man up on him the entire game, or if they're going to rotate him off between maybe Trey and Terrion and Kool-Aid. It'll be interesting to see how they kind of size him up. In terms of like the comparison with the 2016 team, I think we'll know more about that. Hard to compare teams after one game, but I like the mantra from the defensive side of the ball so far, because they're doing that simplistic approach, which is very effective on the defensive side of the ball.
And another thing, I remember hearing over the summer how Alabama didn't make the right hire by not getting Gary Riley. Like I said, I know it's one game, but one hung up, what was it, 56 points?
Yeah.
And the other one got his team to 7. I know Clemson had a lot of turnovers, but Tommy Rees reminds me a lot of like a Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin style of coach. I know a lot of people didn't see that come from Notre Dame, but he didn't have the same type of quarterback and skill players. Like, he's legit.
The thing about, and I think you bring up a great point with Tommy Rees, is because he doesn't have the largest sample size of coaching because he's so young. He's like 30 years old. Notre Dame's offense, they did a lot of creative things over the last couple of years. And I don't think we've even scratched the surface with what Tommy Rees can do. Yeah, I get it. It's just one game, but the tight end specifically, I keep harping on that. And when Coach Saban, I'm sure you guys saw him drop the play the other day with the touchdown to Amari Niblack, that is the type of creativity I'm talking about. Figure out a way to get your playmakers the ball. It doesn't matter if it's a tight end, that's coming over the top of a safety, which in that case they did for Amari Niblack's big touchdown pass. I think Tommy Rees is creative enough to get a lot of people the football, and Alabama has a lot of mouths to feed, and he can do just that. And it's a big step up from Bill O'Brien, who I felt kind of they had more of a like, okay, Bryce is back there, we're going to just kind of rely on him. And it seemed like very vanilla. It seemed boring. I was never really caught off guard. Like, think about this, like watching, nobody was impressed with Bill O'Brien, right? Like, let's just face it, like nobody was, but he had a ton of weapons. He had the first pick in the NFL draft. So this is a big step up. And I know it's early on to say that, but just from hearing from Coach Saban talk about Tommy Rees's mindset, what a brilliant mind and what a big opportunity for him going into this game with an incredible quarterback at his disposal.
Yeah, I agree. Bill O'Brien, he ain't terrible. I think he's more fit for the NFL. He made Alabama fans think our receivers suck, which they clearly don't. I've been a big fan of Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice and Kendrick Law and all them. But another thing on the Alabama-Texas game, I think it's more likely Alabama wins by 20 than loses to Texas, just because since Nick Saban's, well, I ain't going to say since he's been there, since 2010, we've only lost 5 games in Bryant-Denny.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking Alabama wins. I think it's going to be a lot like Florida State LSU. 17-14 game at halftime, and I think Alabama's going to pull away 45-17 final. That's what I'm going to go with.
And that's the thing is, like, the teams that have beaten Alabama in here, and their quarterbacks have just been stellar, right? Especially over the last, a couple years. The teams that have really challenged Alabama, their quarterbacks have been great. Is Quinn a great quarterback? It seems like they're, I mean, I don't know if he's a great quarterback. I mean, we're going to find out, but these quarterbacks that can challenge, like if you can come in here and he can be efficient and he can continue to do, I don't know if he can improve on his deep ball in week 2, that'd be bad for Alabama. But then again, like Alabama's defensive secondary, they're coming with it. So, I mean, it comes down to Quinn for me. And I think you're right. Like probably more likely to happen in this game is Alabama to beat up on Texas than Texas to beat Alabama. I just, for whatever reason, I feel it's going to be close.
And another thing to keep in mind, Kyle, is Alabama hasn't lost a game in September under Nick Saban. I don't know what the record is, but you can go back and look since 2007. He hasn't lost a game in September since he's been at Alabama.
That is so crazy. Wow. Since September. Holy cow. All right, Kendall, I gotta move to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you calling in. Give me your score prediction one more time before we bounce out.
Like I said, I think it's going to be 17-14 at half. Bama, kind of like the LSU Florida State.
Okay. In
the third quarter, I think Alabama will come out punching the mouth, and the momentum crowd will get crazy, and we end up pulling away 45-24 is what I'm going to go with. 45-24 from Kendall in Mobile, Alabama. Well, I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate the score prediction. We'll catch up with you next time, man. Okay, thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you, man. All right, we got a 2256 is a 706 and a 210 inside the call queue. We'll go right to our 256 and we'll start right now. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Timmy from Silicaga.
All right, Timmy, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. It's here. Texas, Bama fans, feeling really good about this one. I wasn't expecting the large margins of scoring or score predictions, but man, I'm about to change my score prediction at the end of the show. What do you think about this matchup as we head into the college football game of the week?
I think it displays a lot of. It's like a statement game for Bama, because last year they didn't make the playoffs, so that everybody's going to be, thinking that Alabama's going to be out of the playoffs and everything like that. So I think Alabama's going to make a statement. They have to prove to everybody that they are that championship team under Nick Saban. So that's what I feel like.
Do you feel that? Because I've asked a lot of Alabama fans this. Do you feel are you in any way buying into this Texas hype at all? Or do you think there's more than hype? I mean, do you think this is a good team? I mean, how do you feel about Steve Sarkisian? Because it seems like from the Texas standpoint, they're coming in with a lot of confidence. But then again, the line is slid to now 7.5 in favor of Alabama.
I buy into the hype. I mean, they're a pretty good team. Steve Sarkisian is one of the best coaches in college football, as an offensive coach when he was at Bama. But I buy into the hype. Last year they kind of fell short by 4 games they lost, but they were all close games too. So I buy into the hype for Texas. They're a pretty good football team.
Who's your X Factor player to watch for Bama and Texas on Saturday?
On defense, I'd say Dante Lawson.
Yep.
And no one's been talking about this one, but Caleb Downs for me would be a huge factor because there's a ton of hype around him coming out of high school. So I believe that he is going to be the main factor on defense.
I love that I did ask Roman about Caleb Downs, and I called him a freshman phenom, and Roman was like, he's not a freshman phenom just yet. He has to have more of a sample size. I was like, yeah, I probably, the wording, I get it. But in terms of what he's doing, it's still incredible that he's able to contribute at this level. And I think he's going to be tested as well. I love your pick about Deontay Lawson. I feel the same way. I think from what we saw from him, not only the first game, but in the Sugar Bowl against Kansas State, that's when you really started to see him as a player. When Alabama has a dominating inside linebacker, those are those teams that are reminiscent of that 2016 squad, right? Like some of those interior linebackers, very, very dangerous. And I think Deontay Lawson's a lot better than people anticipate. And I think he's better than Alabama's had, maybe in a couple the past seasons. So good call on that. Anything else? Make one more point, Timmy, before we bounce out.
Jalen Miro, he has to at least have over 60 yards rushing and have no turnovers. If they want to blow this thing out of the water, they have to have no turnovers on both sides of the ball.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think the turnovers, games like this, clearly matters. Alabama did a really good job last game. You got to win over that turnover margin. I mean, it's so crucial. I appreciate the call in, man. Please call again next time, and thanks for the score prediction, and Roll Tide to you.
Roll Tide.
All right, that was Timmy calling in. And next we got a 256, a 706, a 210, and a 334. All next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Hey, take a minute, take a pause, hit the thumbs up on this video. Take another minute and subscribe. Takes not even a minute. It takes 20 seconds. Appreciate your support right here on the YouTube channel. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Tons of content. Definitely go check out the interviews with Herb Street, Tebow, Roman Harper, Reese Davis, talking about Alabama and Texas. Very, very good stuff. We go right back to the phone lines, and we start with the 256. We start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Florence.
What's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for your continued support of the show. It's here, man. Texas, Bama, score prediction time, and, final thought on the game. Let's go.
Score prediction, I say 48-17, Bama win big. My X factors on defense, I got two players, man. Chris Braswell and Q-Rob, man. They're going to really have to hit that man quite often. And on on offense, my X factor is going to be Malik Benson. We've been hearing about you. They've been talking about you, so we ready to see you. You know what I'm saying? Go on, pop out 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and some plays. It's NCAA like that guy.
And what about this Texas group coming in? I mean, you nervous about any of the matchups? Xavier Worthy, Quinn, Sanders, their tight end. I mean, I've been kind of hyping these guys up a little bit. I mean, what do you think about Texas coming into Bama?
I think if we let their D-line get any kind of momentum behind themselves, because see, I'm not a fan of our offensive line performance last game.
Yeah,
I feel like
me neither.
A D-plus performance at the best.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I say that because being tough and physical is not when there's a pile of guys pushing the pile, and then you come off and you pick off somebody. You a 300-pounder slamming into a 200 solid pound man. That's not playing. That's not physical football. Physical football, Seth McLaughlin, as soon as you hike that ball, you taking a step forward and you pushing your man forward. Mm-hmm. You're not going back. Because, see, Booker and Seth and Dalcourt all summer we've been hearing about running the damn ball and all of this, and you wearing hats. Well, it was a couple run plays, McLaughlin, where you got smacked in the mouth, man. Mm-hmm. And, see, Texas, they coming with guys that's your size or bigger. Middle Tennessee State did that with guys that you outweigh by 75 to 80, 90, 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let these little dudes push you around, that's a problem for me now. Because, see, we keep saying these guys are old Bama and all things like that. Well, I don't remember seeing, not saying that it didn't happen, but I don't remember seeing Barrett Jones them get smacked in the mouth hard. Well, you got to take a couple steps back. And it's like, hold on, man. We was doing the smacking. We were reestablishing the line of scrimmage as soon as the ball was hiked. You could see it on multiple plays. Like, dang, they already 3 plays down. They 3 yards downfield, and Derrick Henry ain't even got the ball yet.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what we talk about when we say run the damn ball and be physical and all that. Not when it's a pile of people and Seth just come off and pick off a line. They need to take that out of football, period. I'm one of the I don't want to see no lineman come up to the pile and crash into everybody. You see what I'm saying? We talk about all these other CTE and hard hits and all that stuff. Well, that's something that needs to go in the game. because that's not football. You win your matchup immediately when the ball is hiked when you're on that line. But I don't know, man. Roll Tide, I love y'all, man.
I appreciate you calling in, Jay. I think, that offensive line as well. Like, I wasn't overly impressed with the offensive line. I want to inform everyone, you guys are going to hear some screenshots in just a second. I'm going to screenshot some prize picks, has some stats that just came out for Alabama and Texas. So don't be alarmed if you hear some screenshots taking place in the back. But I was not impressed with the offensive line overall. And look, I just said that they looked a little bit slow at times. They didn't look overly dominating for being bigger than NFL lines. So this is another opportunity. And I'm not saying that game impacts this game, but let's see if maybe Terrence Ferguson can get in a little bit more and see how he fares. Because I know a lot of people were upset with Darren Dalcourt and his performance, and even Pro Football Focus. Like, Alabama had some very disappointing grades from the offensive line. Jay, anything else before we let you go, man? I think Jay just left. Jay with the walk-off. All right, we got a 706, a 210, and a 334. Jay, I appreciate the call, man. Yeah, and you're right. Like, Seth wants to run the damn ball. Prove you can run the damn ball. 706, we start right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where you calling in from?
Hey, this is David Pickett from Maryland.
All right. Appreciate you calling back in, man. We talked about Darren Dalcourt the last time we were on. I just talked about Darren Dalcourt. I don't know if that's where you want to start, but you probably weren't impressed with his play against Middle, right?
Yes. Darren Dalcourt, he's done. I would be surprised if he makes 7th or 8th round in the NFL pick.
Oh my goodness.
He's garbage. They need to go ahead and put that other guy in and work him in and let that line gel with him, because Darren Dalcourt has not proven it to me. But we need to also understand that Middle Tennessee threw a lot of blitz and special plays. So, and them boys wasn't small. So I think we need to step back and give Middle Tennessee defensive front a little more credit, and their linebackers a little more credit for their play. And we beat them good. I think that we can't downplay what they did to try to stay in the game. And then also I'm looking at Texas. Texas is not going to throw as many blitz, I don't think, as we saw from Middle Tennessee. But I know I have full confidence in our defensive backs to give a better show on Worthy and their tight end and that transfer that they got.
A.D. Mitchell.
I think that with Kool-Aid, I think he's going to lock down his side. I think Taryn Owner's going to lock down his side, and I think Caleb Downs going to do what he got to support that too. And I think they're gonna do real good. And I think the moment is going to be too big for the Texas quarterback. I think Alabama fans going to make enough noise, and I think Q-Rob's going to get there, put a good licking on him, and he's going to be frustrated. I think they're going to go in there, put enough pressure to keep his toes off, and they're not. I don't foresee them having a really good throwing game, especially there at night in Alabama.
David, I just posted, along with David calling in from Maryland. Appreciate the call in. Quinn Ewers is, and these are graphics from Prize Picks. So what Prize Picks is, they're basically asking you, is this player going to go for more or for less than the statistic posted? So, for example, Quinn Ewers, Prize Picks has him throwing for 246 yards. Will he throw for more than 246 yards against Alabama or less? And then for Jalen Milroe, they're asking, will Jalen Milroe throw for over 204 yards or less? With those stats posted, do you think Jalen Milroe throws for more than 200 against Texas, David?
I don't think he would have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think the run game is gonna be okay. It's gonna be open, and I think after Jalen burned them a couple of times with his legs, that's gonna open up the throwing game, and I think he should be able to get anywhere between 150, 175 in the air.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, David?
And I think
go ahead.
Malik Benson. I think this is going to be his time to really spotlight and put himself on the map for Alabama. Between him and I think that tight end, the one that scored last weekend, I think he's going to be a big factor too.
Yeah, that's Amari Niblack.
Yeah, Amari Niblack. And I think even with Oots in them, I think that they need to keep them on the line, blocking and being that extra block, or putting Oots back there as the halfback in the backfield, so he can pick up whenever plays that Jalen need time to throw, to give them guys enough time to pull away from their defender.
All right, David. Well, I got to move to my next caller. I appreciate you calling in. Good feedback. Me and you are going to be watching Darian Dalcourt out there, and then next week you're going to call me back, and we're going to chop it up again on Dalcourt and try to figure this out for Coach Wolford and Coach Saban. Is that cool?
Oh yeah, I just hope we watching him on the sideline in the game.
All right, David. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, roll tide.
Roll tide to you. We got a 210 and a 334 inside the call queue. Right here on Prize Picks, I'll get to my callers in just a second. This particular graphic is showing us that CJ Baxter and Jonathan Brooks, what Prize Picks is anticipating those guys to run for. 40 yards from Baxter and 42 yards from Brooks. Now, I believe, so here's Jace. Right. So last year, what did Jace run for? Over 75 yards, and half of that was on one run. So they're thinking that he runs for 67 yards. But when you kind of zoom out and look to other running backs, they actually have Jalen Milroe listed with, here are his rushing statistics. So what Prize Picks is saying that they expect him to run for more than 52 or less than 52 yards and put up, 200 yards passing. So big game expected from Jalen Milroe. And we all know that, right? I mean, guys got to come with it. Guys got to have a really big game. And I think that's probably going to be a lot of Alabama's offense, not only because he's their only weapon, just because that's how talented he is. And that's what he can do on the field. All right, we go to a 210 and we start right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey there, Kyle. My name's Wes. I'm calling in from San Antonio, Texas. How are you? I appreciate it, Wes. Thank you very much for calling from San Antonio. Was recently in San Antonio and had a really good time doing kind of all the things that, since you're from San Antonio, you probably don't go down to the Riverwalk and stuff like that, but I was treated fairly, had a good time in San Antonio, checked out the Alamo Dome, which I thought was pretty cool. And I was treated fairly. Actually, when I was there too, I went to Converse Judson. Is that still a formidable high school in terms of where high school prospects are coming out of? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Miles Davis is a guy that
there you go.
is being heavily recruited by Texas still, recently committed to A&M a couple of months ago. It's a good question. I actually just started my own college football talk show where I cover everything in and around the college football landscape. But at my core, I'm a Texas Longhorn fan through and through. So I followed these recruitments very closely. But yeah, places outside the greater San Antonio area, like Cibolo Steel, who put out Malcolm Brown, et cetera, Converse Judson. I think that they're going to stay perennial high school powerhouses. Okay, makes sense. All right, man. So what's on your mind, man? Take it away. Yeah, well, a couple things, right? Like I said, at my core, I'm a Texas Longhorn fan through and through. I actually disagree with the last caller, respectfully, in that I think that Texas actually wants to pressure Jalen Milroe and get him on the ground early and often. I think they want to see how he responds to pressure. If they bring 5, they bring 6. And a couple of things, as I'm hearing some of these score predictions as well, is something that we need to consider is that there's no Bryce Young or Bijan Robinson on the field for both of these teams. And I'm actually going to probably take the under at what I think it was 56.5 every day of the week.
Yep.
We all know about the big question marks around the interior of both offensive lines, especially with Texas and the question mark at right guard. We don't know if we're going to see DJ Campbell. We don't know if we're going to see a recently coming off the injury list and Cole Hudson, and the relative uncertainty around both the quarterback positions for both of these teams. But I think something that's getting overlooked outside of the pass rush and the banged up secondary for Alabama is how these linebackers are going to perform in coverage. I know that they could run, but in terms of eye discipline in the RPO game, which is Steve Sarkisian's forte, when it comes to matching up with a player who I think is actually the X factor in this game, in Ja'Tavion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
So the game plan there for Alabama is something that I continually have questions around when they're going to be so focused on guys like Xavier Worthy and the other skill positions on the outside for Texas and A.D. Mitchell, Jordan Whittington, et cetera. I actually think that Ja'Tavion Sanders is going to be the X factor in this game.
Yep.
Because something as a Texas fan that we notice early and often in these games is that Ja'Tavion Sanders is either going to be heavily involved in the game plan or he's an afterthought. There's not a lot of balance in terms of how heavily you involve a guy like that in the game plan when you're Steve Sarkisian. So
Sanders, I mean, I appreciate the call and a really good insight. Honestly, I really appreciate the call. Sanders is a player that I've had a respect for since the first time I saw him on film last year. And I think he could be a tremendous problem. I think he's going to be one of the best athletes on the field. Hey, Taylor, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Roll Tide to you. Thank you very much. And who is going to be matched up on him? That's what I'm curious about. And what is going to be the health or the experience level of that player that is trying to come up with a matchup against Sanders? Is it going to be a freshman by the name of Caleb Downs, who has limited experience, just one game under his belt? Is it going to be Malachi Moore, who is banged up a little bit? We don't know how close he is to 100%. Is it going to be a Jalen Key, we don't know how close he is to 100%? Or is it going to be someone else? And how is Steve Sarkisian going to utilize some of these weapons that he has in different variations on the field with formation sets? Because I think mixing and matching and keeping Alabama's offense guessing as much as you possibly can is going to be instrumental for Texas to move the football. And you bring up a great point. You don't have Bryce Young. You don't have Bijan Robinson, but there still are dangerous weapons. So Coach Saban was asked this, do you look to last year's game film and kind of take away something from last year? And he's like, not from the game overall, but maybe in terms of the tendencies. And I thought that was a great way to put it, because you do look for some tendencies that Steve Sarkisian might have shown. Same thing with Alabama. But you're right. Those two X factors are completely gone. So these are different teams. We do know the skill sets, but I love the X factor on your side with Sanders being one of them, because I think he's certainly going to be one of the best players on the field tomorrow night. What else you got, Wes? Why we got you on the line?
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much time. I know there's other callers in the queue. I think one more thing, and when I look at some of these prize picks, I think that if Jalen Milroe runs underneath, what prize picks had him at, I think it's like 50.5, something like that. I don't think that if he does not get to that 50-yard mark with his legs, I think Alabama's in trouble, because what that means is that Texas A is either getting him on the ground early and often, or B, he's throwing the ball all over the field, which I don't see as, an accurate outcome for how this game's going to play out. I think that they're going to heavily game plan Jalen Milroe with his legs in this game. And if Quinn Ewers throws anything underneath 240 yards, I think Texas is getting blown out. Yeah. I think in order for Texas to win that game, Quinn Ewers has to be throwing the ball to the outside hash and throwing the ball downfield with accuracy early and often. I think he was 0 for 6 on deep balls last week against Rice. The deep ball has always been a concern. With the only game really standing out from when Quinn Ewers is actually throwing the ball downfield with accuracy was at Alabama last year for a quarter. And so because of that reason and because of the lack of consistency with Quinn Ewers, I actually have Alabama winning this game right at that line of probably around a touchdown. I think it's going to be a close football game. I think special teams is going to play a big part. And the last thing that I'll say is that I'm really curious to see the Texas secondary perform. I know that when Jeff Ketchum was on the line earlier, I think yesterday or the day prior, he was talking about the secondary at Texas being a strength for this Longhorn football team. I think the best player in that secondary is actually a freshman by the name of Malik Muhammad, who I think is going to get a lot of snaps. How does Jalen Milroe exploit the lack of experience in the Texas secondary and how Alabama game plans around that is going to be really interesting to me. I think it's going to be a great football game. I think Bryant Denny, for being a sleepy atmosphere, is going to wake the hell up for this game. I think it's going to be an A+ atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. Tremendous call, Wes. I really appreciate it, man. Call in anytime, man. Maybe you not come in Texas, man. Love to rap with you. Great stuff and really good delivery. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for the time.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, Wes out in San Antonio. We'll take a 3-3-4. We'll just jump right into it. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, how you doing, Kyle? This is Thomas from Dothan, Alabama.
Hey, Thomas, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much. It's almost that time, man. What you got on your mind is we're set for the college football showdown right here in Tuscaloosa.
All right, first off, I want to start off with the score prediction, and I want to briefly touch on the challenges for Alabama and Texas, because I am an Alabama fan, but I'm not super fanned out where I can't look at the game logically and actually talk about the X's and O's of football. So first, the score prediction, I'm looking at a pretty close game. I don't think it'll be a blowout at all. This is the same team that we barely beat last year, 20-19, and I know it's a different year. We have a different offensive coordinator, different defensive coordinator, different mindset, and I can tell from the first game. But I'm looking at a 27-21 score, somewhere in that range. In my X factors, I want to say the X factors for Alabama on the defensive side of the ball, I think it will be the inside linebackers, Deontay Lawson. And if Jahad Campbell plays, I think this will be the game where Alabama fans fall in love with Jahad Campbell. And on the offensive side, I'm looking at Jalen Milroe and the whole running back room. I think the running back room will get it done as a collective. I think the days are over where we have Trent Richardson or Derrick Henry. I think we just have a great running back room, and they'll get the job done.
On the line with Thomas calling in from Dothan, Alabama. A lot of people are talking inside the comment box about blitzing, like don't blitz Jalen Milroe, but you got to get heat on Quinn. And in the interviews that I've done this week, I 100% agree with that. I think that the game comes down to pass rush from Alabama. And Alabama certainly has the edge rushers. As you know, Thomas, Dallas Turner, I don't think we even talked about him on the show one time. And almost like you don't have to because that, like, people know he's coming. Chris Broswell blew my mind against Middle. And Coach Saban said that, and we all saw this, Middle got the football out so quickly, you couldn't even really get to the quarterback. But Quinn is going to try to develop some pocket presence. Texas offensive line is in for a gigantic challenge, not only trying to stop rush from the outside, but from talking to Texas people, they feel that Texas interior is a little bit soft. And that's concerning if you're a Texas fan because Deontay Lawson or Q Robinson coming off some sort of a stunt across the center where he's racing down the quarterback, that sort of pressure could change the momentum of the game from a sack or from a force that makes Quinn throw an interception or something like that. I think getting heat has to be critical. That's probably one of the biggest X factors of this game after limiting turnovers from Jalen Milroe, right? Jalen Milroe keeps the football and he just plays his game, and Alabama's able to get to the quarterback. I think Alabama wins this game. Still seeing it been tight, but after listening to everybody else, I'm not so sure. Thomas, did you have like a score prediction for this game? Sorry if I missed it in your opening, but I was listening to some other points that you made.
Yeah, I think you missed it. I'm going with 27-21. I think it's going to be a close game. Okay. I think us being at home is going to play a big factor. It's going to be a different game than last year. And like you said, I think the pass rush is going to be one of the key points to why we win this game. The pass rush and our run game. Yep. You know, I don't think our offense plays excellent in this game. You know, we have to be a little realistic. You know, Jalen Milroe has only this will be his third game starting.
Yeah. No,
I mean, let's
you're
be
right.
real.
Yeah,
you know, we're not a fine oil machine on offense just yet. I think later on this year we'll get to that point, but I think we struggle at times in this game on offense. You know, Texas is not a pushover. You know, I hope Alabama fans need to get it out of their head. I don't think we blow out this team. This team is very good. They're ranked number 11 in the country for a reason. I do think we're the better team, athlete for athlete, but they will present challenges to us. You know, I can see either Kool-Aid or Terrion Arnold. You know, I can see Xavier Worthy working them a few times, you know, down the field. I mean, he's one of the most explosive wide receivers in the country, if not the most explosive. So we will have some challenges in this game, but I think us being better athlete for athlete, I think that takes us over the top at the end of the day.
Good call. I appreciate you calling in, Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the score prediction. I hope you have a fantastic game, fantastic time watching the game, and I'll talk to you next time.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right. Roll Tide to you.
Roll Tide.
That was Thomas calling in from Dothan. Appreciate the call coming in. All right, fam. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the game. Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Be sure and check out that College Game Day Crew YouTube video that we dropped. It's great. Good stuff. Really good interview. Really good audio. Tried my hardest. You know me, I'm always about the audio, so I want you guys to have the best audio experience ever. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm always here. Everybody's in town this weekend, and rightfully so, because it's the biggest party in town. But guess what? When everybody leaves on Saturday, I'm gonna be here in Tuscaloosa. I'll be going to Waysider on Sunday morning. I'll be going to Ramajamas on Monday. Capstone on Tuesday for lunch. I live here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm reporting from Tuscaloosa. Love it here. I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for joining me today. One more time from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube.